Hi friends! I am about to get up to something that is a little unhinged. So I recently moved and I started unpacking all of my fabric and putting it away in my new sewing space. I found something amazing. I do not remember buying this, but at some point I must have, because here it is. It's turkeys. So it is a whole tablecloth of turkeys. Immediately once I found it, I threw it in the wash, just on the off chance I would happen to have some time to make something with it, because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Now, I did not really think I would have time to make anything out of this, but then I was scrolling through the Simplicity website and I found this amazing pattern. It is a vintage super jiffy pattern, which means in theory, it's supposed to make up very, very quickly. Now, if anybody remembers the walkaway dress challenge, I love nothing more than trying to make something as quick as physically possible. So my husband's home from work to watch the other kids. I'm about to leave to take my son to get his hair cut. And while we're out, I'm going to pick up this pattern. And when they take a nap this afternoon, I'm going to try and get this dress done as fast as I can. Because basically all the time I have is during their nap, and then maybe a little bit of time for finishing touches after they go to bed tonight. We're gonna try it. Like a lot of people, I work better under a strict deadline and with a challenge. So I will be timing myself to see how fast I can do this and see how jiffy, super jiffy really is. With these silly little turkeys, let's get up to some shenanigans. Hello, Joanne, my old friend. So anyway, I got the goods and a couple other things too, because I have no self-control. Here's the pattern. It says super jiffy right on the front. On the back, you can see it's really more of an apron dress than an actual dress. So here's what the tablecloth looks like laid out. I actually don't have room to lay the whole thing out because it's so big. Down the middle, there's this detail with pomegranates, I don't know, and then the turkeys along the edge. Before I started sewing, I pulled out the directions just to make sure I knew kind of what was going on here. It looks like there are 6 main pattern pieces, but I'm not going to use the pocket, and then 6 main darts. Then you know the drill, it's time to start the stopwatch. Showing off the new cutting table my husband built for me. I did make that quilt, I'm very proud of it. There are 2 main papers in the packet. To save some time, I did cut my pattern pieces out using my rotary cutter. Straight pattern pieces like this, I rarely actually cut out. I usually just measure them and then cut my fabric to that size along a straight edge. I just find it easier and quicker that way. Then I had to decide if I wanted to do view A or view B. I had originally been leaning towards the long version and very quickly at this moment realized I hated that idea. The main pattern piece is piece 1 and it is very large, but it's very easy to cut out, just basically rectangular. And at this point, I really should have changed my rotary blade. It had gotten super dull, but I didn't want to take time to go dig through and find my replacement blades, so you can just watch me struggle with that for a second. Pattern piece number 4 is symmetrical, so I don't know why they have you cutting it the long way instead of folding it and cutting it on the fold. I'm just not sure. So anyway, I cut mine on the fold. I thought it would be easier and save a little time and make sure both sides were completely even. When working with a cotton woven, that's how I like to clean up my straight edges, and that's also how I cut the straps and belt piece. I just measured, made a little cut, and then ripped all the way down. After that, I used a water-soluble marker to transfer all of the markings from the pattern, like the darts. So preparing the pattern and the fabric to be sewn took about 45 minutes. At this point, I started the timer back over because what I really want to know is how fast it takes to sew. For the darts, I didn't baste anything, nothing fancy like that. I just pinned and sewed. It saves time. This isn't the most important garment in the world, and the fabric isn't slippery or anything like that. Somehow I forgot to leave a hole for the belt. I had to go back and redo that. I don't know why. I miss that step every single time I make a wrap dress. Every time. It's a curse. With all of the darts in, I held it up to my body to see what it would kind of look like, and this is it. I would say this is a beginner-friendly pattern in general. However, The instructions on the facings are a little sparse, so if you hadn't done a facing before, it might seem a little confusing. You may have to look up a video to watch or something like that. Then I just sewed on following the pattern instructions, and it took me about 2 hours and 10 minutes. At this point, it was very, very early this morning, technically, and I was desperately hoping that with some styling, this was going to look a lot better. Okay, here she is. I am actually very relieved. Now that I have it styled, I do like it a lot. It's not necessarily something I would wear every day, so it's probably good that this is kind of a novelty item. I think this style where it's very tight fitting in the skirt just isn't really my jam. But I do like it. I like the kind of 60s, 70s vibe it has, and it's something that I'll wear for Thanksgiving and fall time. I did only time when I was actively working on this project, so anytime I had to step away to deal with a kid or anything like that, I did stop the timer. But this project, only sewing and preparing the pattern, took me around 3 hours, just a little over 3 hours. This was a fun little challenge. This turkey print makes me laugh so much. I love it. It brings me so much joy, and I'm very happy to have something special to wear for the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving! Bye, friends.